What are the special challenges of producing effective antifungal drugs?
Since fungi are eukaryotic, their cellular structure is similar to, if not the same as, that of animals and humans. Drugs that affect metabolic pathways in fungi often affect corresponding pathways in host cells, which can result in the host sustaining drug toxicity. Many antifungal drugs can only be used topically. Very few drugs have been found to be selectively toxic, that is, toxic to fungi and not their human hosts.
What are the special challenges of producing effective antifungal drugs?
Since fungi are eukaryotic, their cellular structure is similar to, if not the same as, that of animals and humans. Drugs that affect metabolic pathways in fungi often affect corresponding pathways in host cells, which can result in the host sustaining drug toxicity. Many antifungal drugs can only be used topically. Very few drugs have been found to be selectively toxic, that is, toxic to fungi and not their human hosts.
What are some important antifungal drugs and their mechanism of operation?
Many antifungal drugs work by interfering with the function or synthesis of ergosterol. Ergosterol is found in the cytoplasmic membrane of fungal cells but is not found in human cells. Some antifungal drugs interfere with fungus-specific structures and functions, such as the cell wall.
What are some important antifungal drugs and their mechanism of operation?
Many antifungal drugs work by interfering with the function or synthesis of ergosterol. Ergosterol is found in the cytoplasmic membrane of fungal cells but is not found in human cells. Some antifungal drugs interfere with fungus-specific structures and functions, such as the cell wall.
Why are bacteria known as pollution fighters?
Through a process known as bioremediation, bacteria are able to degrade many pollutants found in soil and water. They are also capable of altering a harmful substance so it becomes harmless or even beneficial to its environment. Scientists are working to improve bacteria's efficiency as a natural pollution fighter.
What toxic substances are produced by mushrooms?
The most toxic substances produced by mushrooms are amatoxins and phallotoxins, both cyclopeptides. These toxins act by interfering with RNA and DNA transcription, inhibiting the formation of new cells. The toxins collect in the liver, ultimately leading to liver failure.
How is a fairy ring formed?
Long ago it was believed that the circles of mushrooms that sometimes form in meadows marked the locations where fairies gathered at night to dance. Fairy rings, or fungus rings, are frequently found in grassy areas. There are three types of rings: those that do not affect their surrounding vegetation, those that cause increased vegetational growth, and those that damage their surrounding environment. The rings are started from a mycelium, the underground, food-absorbing part of a fungus. The fungus growths are circular because a round inner band of decaying mycelium forms underground. This band uses up the resources present in the soil that is directly above it. When the fungus forms caps that present above ground, the mushrooms grow around the mycelium, creating a ring effect. Each succeeding generation grows further from the center.
What do truffles look like?
Truffles have a rather unappealing appearance. They are somewhat round, but irregularly shaped, and have thick, rough, wrinkled skin that varies from off-white to almost black in color. The fruiting bodies present on truffles are fragrant, fleshy structures that usually grow to about the size of a golf ball. They range from white, gray, or brown to nearly black in color. There are nearly 70 known varieties of truffles, but the most desirable is the black truffle, also known as black diamond, that grows in France's Périgord and Quercy regions as well as Italy's Umbria region. The flesh of the black diamond appears to be black, but it is actually dark brown, and contains white striations. The flesh has an aroma that is extremely pungent. The second most popular is the white truffle, actually off-white or beige, of Italy's Piedmont region. Both the aroma and flavor of this truffle are earthy and garlicky. Fresh truffles are available from late fall to midwinter, and can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 3 days.
What are some commercial uses of red algae?
The cell walls of red algae contain a mucilaginous outer component usually composed of agar and carrageenan. Agar is used for making gel capsules, a material that is used to make dental impressions and as a base for cosmetics. It is also the basis of the scientific laboratory media used for growing bacteria, fungi, and other organisms. Agar is also used to prevent baked goods from drying out and for rapid setting jellies. Carrageenan is used as a stabilizer for emulsions such as paints, cosmetics, ice cream, and many dairy products. The genus Porphyra, commonly called nori, is cultivated as a food and is specifically popular in Japan.
How are fungi related to soy sauce?
Aspergillus tiamari and other deuteromycetes are used to produce soy sauce by slowly fermenting boiled soybeans. Soy sauce provides foods with more than its special flavor. The soybeans and fungi give soy sauce amino acids that are vital to human life. Fungi have been used in many cultures to improve the nutrient quality of the diet.
What factors contribute to the spread of emerging infectious diseases?
Some of the factors contributing to the spread of emerging infectious diseases include environmental changes, unwarranted use and abuse of antibiotics, and the prevalence of modern transportation, which allows diseases to spread in wide geographic areas very rapidly.
What is unusual about the stinkhorn fungus Dictyophora?
The stinkhorn fungus Dictyophora indusiata is one of the world's fastest growing organisms. It pushes out of the ground at a rate of about 0.2 in, 0.5 centimeters, per minute. The growth rate is so fast that a crackling sound can be heard as the tissues of the fungus swell and stretch. During growth, a delicate, net-like veil forms around the fungus, giving this fungus its common name, the Lady of the Veil. The fungus then decomposes and in the process produces a strong odor that is similar to the smell of decaying flesh. This odor attracts flies that crawl over the fungus and collect its spores on their feet. This process ensures that the spores are carried to new areas. Although the odor produced by species of Dictyophora is quite unpleasant, members of this genus are considered delicacies in China, where they are marketed as aphrodisiacs.
How are truffles used in cooking?
Dark truffles are generally used to flavor foods such as omelets, polentas, risottos, and sauces. White truffles are usually served raw, they are often grated over foods such as pasta or dishes containing cheese, as their flavors are complementary. They are also added at the last minute to cook dishes.
What are the commercial uses of brown algae?
Kelp, one of the species of brown algae, is harvested from ocean water for the sodium, potassium salts, iodine, and alginates that it contains. The alginates are carbohydrates used in the formation of gels.
What is the scientific study of fungi called?
The scientific study of fungi is called mycology, which is derived from the Greek word mykote, meaning fungus. The first extensive taxonomical study of fungi, Systemia Mycologicum, was published by Elias Fries, 1794–1878, and Christian Hendrik Persoon, 1761–1836. In 1821–32. The book is still considered the authoritative resource on fungal taxonomy.
What are some important antifungal drugs and their mechanism of operation?
Many antifungal drugs work by interfering with the function or synthesis of ergosterol. Ergosterol is found in the cytoplasmic membrane of fungal cells but is not found in human cells. Some antifungal drugs interfere with fungus-specific structures and functions, such as the cell wall.
When was Dutch elm disease first identified in North America?
Dutch elm disease was first identified in 1930 in Cincinnati, Ohio. The source of the fungus was shown to be elm logs imported from Europe. By 1940 the disease had spread to 9 states. By 1950 it was found in 17 states and had spread into southern Canada. Today it is found wherever elm trees grow throughout North America.
What cheeses are associated with fungi?
The unique flavor of cheeses such as Roquefort, Camembert, and Brie is produced by members of the genus Penicillium. Roquefort is often referred to as the king of cheeses. It is one of the oldest and best-known cheeses in the world. This blue cheese has been enjoyed since Roman times and was a favorite of Charlemagne, King of the Franks and Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, 742–814. Roquefort is made from sheep's milk that has been exposed to the mold. Penicillium roqueforti and aged for 3 months or more in the limestone caverns of Mount Comelu, near the village of Roquefort in southwestern France. This is the only place true Roquefort can be aged. It has a creamy, rich texture and a flavor that is simultaneously pungent, piquant, and salty. It has a creamy white interior marked by blue veins. The cheese is held together with a snowy white rind. True Roquefort is authenticated by the presence of a red sheep on the emblem present on the cheese's wrapper. Penicillium camemberti gives Camembert and Brie cheeses their special qualities. Napoleon is said to have christened Camembert cheese with its name. Supposedly the name comes from the Norman village where a farmer's wife first served it to Napoleon. This cheese is formed of cow's milk and has a white, downy rind and a smooth, creamy interior. When perfectly ripe and served at room temperature, the cheese should ooze thickly. Although Brie is made in many places, Brie from the region of the same name east of Paris is considered one of the world's finest cheeses by connoisseurs. Similar to Camembert, it has a white, surface-ripened rind and smooth, buttery interior.
What are rusts and smuts and what effect do they produce in crops?
Rusts and smuts are very small fungi responsible for many serious plant diseases. Cereals and other grains are highly susceptible to attack by rusts and smuts. Many rusts and smuts have complicated life cycles as they are known to use more than one plant species as a host during their lifetime. For example, wheat rust spends a portion of its life in barberry plants and a portion in wheat.
Can mushrooms grow up overnight?
A mushroom is only the fruiting body, that is, reproductive structure of a much larger fungus body that grows unseen in rotting logs, rich humus, and dark, damp places. Many familiar mushrooms have fruiting bodies that are fleshy and umbrella-shaped. Warm, damp weather triggers their sudden appearance. Usually first to be noticed are small, round button caps composed of densely packed hyphae. Soon after the outer covering ruptures, the stem elongates, and the cap enlarges to its full size. This entire process can indeed happen overnight.
What is the difference between regular acidophilus milk and sweet acidophilus milk?
Both acidophilus milk and sweet acidophilus milk are inoculated with the bacterium Lactobacillus acidophilus. Many health practitioners believe that this bacterium, a normal member of the human intestinal flora, aids in digestion. Regular acidophilus milk is produced by adding the Bacterium to vats of skim milk as part of the fermentation process. It has a characteristic sour taste. When the bacterium is added to pasteurized milk and packaged without fermentation, sweet acidophilus milk, which lacks the characteristic sour taste, is produced.
How were the White Cliffs of Dover, England, formed?
The White Cliffs of Dover are composed of a variety of protist fossil shells, including Coccolithophores, a type of algae, and foraminiferans. The shells of dead foraminiferans are deposited on the bottom of the ocean and go on to form grey mud. The grey mud is gradually transformed into limestone, chalk. Geologic uplifting brings the formations of limestone up to land.
What other tree species has been adversely affected by a fungus?
Elm trees are susceptible to the fungus Ophiostoma ulmi, which causes Dutch elm disease. The fungus lives in the tubular cells present in the outermost wood of trees. As the cells become plugged, water and nutrients are not able to move from the roots to the top of a tree, and eventually the tree dies.
What antidote is available for mushroom poisoning?
No effective antidote for mushroom poisoning in humans has been discovered. The 138 toxins produced by mushrooms accumulate in the liver and lead to irreversible liver damage. Unfortunately, there may be no indication of poisoning for several hours after ingesting a toxic mushroom. When the symptoms do present, they often resemble typical food poisoning. Liver failure becomes apparent 3 to 6 days after ingesting a poisonous mushroom. Oftentimes a liver transplant may be the only possible form of treatment.
What are the special challenges of producing effective antifungal drugs?
Since fungi are eukaryotic, their cellular structure is similar to, if not the same as, that of animals and humans. Drugs that affect metabolic pathways in fungi often affect corresponding pathways in host cells, which can result in the host sustaining drug toxicity. Many antifungal drugs can only be used topically. Very few drugs have been found to be selectively toxic, that is, toxic to fungi and not their human hosts.
Who is considered the father of lichenology?
Eric Acharius, 1757 to 1819, is considered the father of lichenology. He was the founder of modern lichen taxonomy. Having described and arranged lichens into 40 distinct genera. His 4 major works of research: Lichenographum Suaix Prodromus, 1798. Methodus Lichenum, 1803, Lichenographia Universalis, 1810. And Synopsis Methodica Lichenum, 1814, formed the foundations of modern lichenology.
What characteristics do all fungi share?
In the earliest classification systems, fungi were classified as plants. The first classification system to recognize fungi as a separate kingdom was proposed in 1784. Researchers identified 4 characteristics shared by all fungi. Fungi lack chlorophyll. The cell walls of fungi contain the carbohydrate chitin, the same tough material a crab shell is made of. Fungi are not truly multicellular, since the cytoplasm of one fungal cell mingles with the cytoplasm of adjacent cells. Fungi are heterotrophic eukaryotes. unable to produce their own food from inorganic matter, while plants are autotrophic eukaryotes.